this is putting a lot of pressure through anxiety, through like nervousness, through chaos to implement change that's needed for us. We are really supported in releasing whatever is causing us chaos, right? We can't move forward. We can't make the changes we need to if we're stuck onto the comfort zone that we have been in and lived in the past. Hi, and welcome back to another video on the channel. In this video today, I want to talk about why the hell you're feeling so anxious and chaotic right now. And it's probably not really you or anything you're doing, it's the current transits putting this kind of pressure on us in a way to really transform and innovate through chaos and through anxiety. I'm going to be in this video mostly talking about the transits of Uranus right now. Uranus has been in Taurus for the last 7 years. I have another video I filmed a few years ago that lives on my channel about the 7-year cycles of Uranus. Uranus has been in Taurus since around 2018. Roughly the last 7 years, we have had Uranus transiting through the sign of Taurus, bringing a lot of instability to us fixed signs. I myself am a Taurus, so I'm counting myself into this because I've been really feeling it. When Uranus first moved into Taurus, it was just straight up chaos for me. It was straight up change. I was living all over the place. I never had a home. I was just like in and out of places like crazy. And it was just a lot of tumultuous chaos, right? Which Uranus brings. Uranus is the planet of change, innovation, shaking things up, and really unexpected, sudden change, which shows up a lot as chaos. But the benefits of Uranus is that it shakes us out of our comfort zone, especially being in the sign of comfort, Taurus. It shakes us up to do things differently and do things really in a way that's more aligned with where we're headed and what we're changing or what we need to change about our lives. That's gonna feel better for us overall, although it is chaotic and unstable in the moment. And so right now, all of us that have Pluto and Aquarius at late degrees of Scorpio, or if you have any other placements in Scorpio at late degrees, from around 20 degrees to 29 degrees of Scorpio, or any other fixed sign, you are probably feeling this 100-fold right now. Like, this is probably a very prevalent energy for you if you have any fixed sign placements from 20 to 29 degrees in your chart. If you don't know if you do or not, you can get your chart from my website, Astrology, humandesign.com. Go to find the Get Your Chart tab, select Astrology, plug in your birth information, and pull up your chart, or use another favorite chart calculator that you have that shows you the degrees in your chart. But if you're in my Become an Astrologer course, you already know what I'm talking about. You probably have already looked at this for your chart because I give you the tools to read transits in my Become an Astrologer course. So you might already know what I'm talking about here and how to look at your chart for this, or you might already have it memorized. But this is really what it is. If you have late degrees and fixed signs, this is putting a lot of pressure through anxiety, through like nervousness, through chaos to implement change that's needed for us. And not only at a somatic level, not only like within our body, but on the external too. This is showing up for me right now in a really big way with my living situation because Uranus is also harmonizing with the South Node as I speak. I talked about this in my weekly transit update for this week, for the week of May 5th. If you missed it, go back and find it in the live section of my channel because I do those weekly horoscopes live. But Uranus harmonizing with the South Node in Virgo means that we are really supported in releasing whatever is causing us chaos, right? We can't move forward. We can't make the changes we need to if we're stuck onto and gripped onto the comfort zone that we have been in and lived in the past or are currently comfortable with, right? We really have to embrace the innovation that is being asked of us right now and release whatever hasn't been working, whether it's an old story, a mindset, an actual physical situation. For me, it's my literal home because these transits are also harmonizing with placements I have natally in my 4th house. So it is really calling for me to approach my whole home and living situation much differently than I have been, and to actually physically move locations, to make an actual physical change. And just because of where it's sitting in my personal chart too, there's a lot more going on underneath the surface of mindset and childhood and physical trauma and things like that that are coming up for the surface for me too, to feel and heal. Feel it to heal it, in order to really not recreate it, in order to finally move on from this pattern or this trauma or trigger or whatever it is, right, that's coming up, so that we don't keep living from it, we don't keep repeating it, and we can actually have space for the new in our lives. I'm also feeling called to declutter a lot of possessions because my Pluto is in my second house. So again, if you're in my Become an Astrologer course, you already know how to read your chart for this, and you probably already know exactly where to look and what it means for you based on your placements and where they are in your chart and the houses that they're in, because this is what I teach inside the course, how to be empowered with all of this knowledge and the language of it to know what it means and be able to read it for yourself. But also in general, because this is happening in the sign of Taurus, like this is really about money for a lot of us and about possessions and values and self-worth for a lot of us, because that is in general what the sign Taurus represents. So a lot of it is shaking up collectively our financial systems and structures, the market. What just happened with the stock market is another example of this. Like this is really happening on a worldwide scale, because this transit is also harmonizing with Saturn and the North Node that are currently in Pisces. So not only is it harmonizing with the South Node in Virgo, prompting for a chaotic, sudden, unexpected release of something outdated, but it is also harmonizing with the direction that we're headed. So making these changes, like I've been saying, really benefit where we are headed in our lives and how we can get there and how to be disciplined and committed with where we're headed in the collective direction that we are focused on. This is also, again, why it's a really collective theme, because as I've talked about in previous videos, where the North Node and South Node currently are is what we're focused on as a collective. It represents the collective's current environment, like what we are focused on when we go out into the world and what we see, what we talk about. A lot of people are talking about religion more than normal, spirituality more than normal, creative gifts and passions more than normal, or talking about overthinking, talking about anxiety, talking about things of the mind, mental health, nutrition, food, working out, a lot more than normal, right? Because of where the North and South Node are, it's putting that focus on those things in our life, the signs of Pisces and Virgo. And with this harmonization that Uranus is bringing to that as well, it is really calling for us to make the changes needed, but change is always chaotic because it's something we're not going to naturally do as human beings. We like our comfort zone. We like staying the same. We don't like to change. And so things really have to be shooken up in a chaotic way for us to make a change that is needed, that we were maybe what is that phrase, pitter-puttering around? I feel like I try to, in all of my videos, I feel like I try to remember phrases that are like from the 1920s and I just like can't remember them, and then I end up butchering them. Anyways. Not only that's going on right now, but we still have Mars opposite Pluto. So there's still this kind of power struggle at play. And now that Pluto has gone retrograde, we're on the tail end of it as I'm filming this video. It's not going to last much longer, but now that Pluto's gone retrograde, we're focused on internalizing those power struggles and looking inwardly at what needs to change about ourselves or ways of being that we had been embodied in from our past, from traumas, from wounds that weren't really who we truly were. And so we're looking at that internally, having to create space for these feelings that are coming up. I myself have had to have a lot of downtime recently to like hold space for anxiety and just really somatic feelings in my body that are not normal things I'm used to like having to feel and look at every single day. But these transits are really like pulling up all of the weeds that were left within us so that we can grow new things, and we can grow new things really, really well in a way that is sustainable. Again, this all really ties into the ending of a cycle that we're all in and the new beginning that is emerging from that ending. But endings aren't graceful and beginnings aren't either. Like it's a kind of mess when we're in transition between those two cycles of our lives, right? And I've been talking about this a lot in all of my videos. If you have watched my other videos, then you probably already know that this is happening. But right now it's all being kind of like amplified in a really intense way. And like I've said, especially if you have late degree fixed sign placements from 20 to 29 degrees of fixed signs, that is Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius. If you're in my courses or you have my ebook, you already know that I talk about the modalities and the elements, the signs within them quite a bit, and how to know like when things are squaring each other because of that, because of what's going on within a specific modality or element, because that gives us indicators of certain aspects. That aside, you might be also asking, as I'm talking about all this, how much longer is this going to last? Now, Uranus is only going to be in late degrees of Taurus for another month and a half until around July 8th, when it moves into Gemini for the first time in 84 years. And that leads me into my next point, that this is a once in a lifetime transit. Uranus is not going to be in Taurus again in your lifetime unless you live to be another what is 84 minus 7? 77 years. Unless you live to be another 77 years, you will not experience this transit again, right? So this is really a once in a lifetime energy, and it's all happening for a reason. And that's what I love about astrology and being able to understand what these things are when I look them up, because it's like, oh, this just helps me to know what's happening right now and how it's affecting me personally and what it really like is prompting for an evolution around, because that's my lens of astrology. It's evolutionary. For me, I look at astrology as like, okay, what is this creating in terms of my growth, my potential, my evolution, and how is this like helping me to heal, really? And so that's what all of this is doing right now. And yes, it's uncomfortable, it's not fun. I would not prefer to be looking at deep-seated trauma the past week and really feeling these things and really processing these things emotionally, but that's what we chose as human beings in this life, right? That's a part of the human experience, and we can't knock it, we can't like write it off or distract ourselves from it just because it's uncomfortable, right? We have to go through that experience and we have to feel it to heal it, like I said previously in the video. So the answer to that is it's really only going to be this intense for the next couple weeks or so, but this will be a big theme over the summer of really needing to make necessary changes in our lives that might feel or seem chaotic, but ultimately in the long term, they are going to benefit us, even if the short term feels like really annoying and frustrating. You know, it's almost like whenever you move into a new home, which I have done like 50 freaking times in the last 15 years or so. I have moved a lot. Uranus has really been creating instability for me in my home. But back to my point is when you're moving, it seems so chaotic. You have to organize everything, you have to like go through everything and declutter, you have to get boxes, you have to build the boxes, you have to put stuff in the boxes, you have to label the boxes, and then you have to like move it yourself or hire a moving company, you have to go get the moving truck, you have, right? It's so chaotic. And then once you're in your new place, there's these boxes everywhere, you have to unpack, you have to sort, you have to organize, you have to put this there, put that there, and build this so you can put the things there. It's a lot, and it's so chaotic and stressful, but only really for the short term. Usually when we're moving, it's to benefit us in some way, whether it's a bigger house or in a better area or somewhere we like more, or with a partner that we're really excited to move in with and like live with and experience life with on a daily basis, right? It's a long-term gain that has and requires a short-term kind of setback that is experienced through chaos and upheaval, right? And so that's kind of where we're in right now. That's the chapter that we're all in. Like I titled my last weekly horoscope, Your New Life is Loading right now, and it feels really chaotic, it feels really unstable, but that's a part of the transition. That's a part of wrapping up things and ending things fully, so we have the new and we have it with a solid foundation on which to stand and begin the new chapter of our life in a very sustainable and more fulfilling way, right? So my message to you, I hope this resonated. My message overall and advice is just to sit with the discomfort. If it's creating anxiety for you, if it's creating just like this feeling in your gut, like, ugh, give yourself space, like go lay on your bed and put your phone, put everything away, lay there and just feel it and just love it and hug it and just experience it, right? Because that's gonna make it dissipate. That's gonna actually release it from your body. It's only when we resist it that it persists, right? What we resist persists. But if you really create space to feel what's coming up for you right now in your body and just like let it happen and let the mind do what it's going to do and let your body feel the things it needs to feel, it needs space to feel, then it is going to heal. I love that I'm rhyming so much. It makes me so happy and like breaks up the monotony and the depth that this is creating for us right now, right? This is really kind of heavy and intense stuff that's coming up. But when we create space for it and then we can transmute it through laughter or lightness or play, which is Mars and Leo energy. If you saw my Mars opposite Pluto video and Mars and Leo video for all 12 zodiac signs, you already know how this is showing up for you in what areas of life it's affecting you. But that's the overall energy of Mars and Leo in general, is like, how can we transmute the heaviness into lightness? Because that also helps it shift and dissipate And it helps us feel better about what's coming up too, because we need that after we feel and process really heavy, intense, emotional things. And so that's the energy we can kind of lean on as well right now. And also Venus is harmonizing with Mars. So there is a lot of harmonization as much as there is chaos. There's this underlying theme and energy of like, we're protected, we're supported. We're encouraged to make these changes. We're encouraged to stand up for ourselves. We're encouraged to take our power back from people who would have power or control over us that is unwarranted or unfair or unjust, right? This is the energy of like really standing in your own, standing in this new identity that you have been embodying maybe over the past several years. And really just having the faith that it's all happening for a reason, and having the knowing that what is meant for you can never pass you by, and you are on your way there. And this change, this chaos, is an indicator of that. So I hope this resonated with you. Let me know how this is showing up for you in the comments. Let's chat about it. Share your chart or your placements or whatever's going on for you based on what I shared in this video. I can't wait to connect with you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.